4. The balance shifts. Tarvo stood still as a statue atop the spire, watching the ripple from Evan's awakening flatten out across the cosmic continuum. Reality itself hummed with the echo. Yar observed him silently for several moments before speaking. You opened your field much more strongly than usual? Tarvo nods. He needed stability. Without it, his awakening might have fractured him. You steadied him, she said softly. For now. Yara crossed her arms, her aura pulsing with quiet worry. Tarvo, the Zorvexians will feel this. Yes, they'll know a neophyte has awakened. One with exceptional resonance. Yes, they might try to recruit him or worse. Tarvo's eyes sharpened faintly. They will try. Yara hesitated. Do you think they know who he is? Tarvo's aura dimmed, as if absorbing the weight of the question. They will, he said, and when they do, they will try to shape him, control him, turn him against us. Yara exhaled. Then we have to reach him first. Tarvo shook his head gently. No, we must not force contact. Not yet. His resonance is still unformed. Touching it prematurely could distort his path. But if the Zorvexians, if they appear, Tarvo said, I will intervene. There was no arrogance in his voice, no threat, just a simple statement of fact. Yara nodded slowly, trusting him as she always did. But Tarvo wasn't looking at her anymore. He gazed far beyond, into the distant blue star where the neophyte had collapsed. He didn't speak the fear that brushed the edges of his mind, a fear he had not felt in trillions of years, that this human's awakening was too strong, too early, too uncontrolled. A force like that, if shaped wrongly, could bend entire civilizations, and the Zorvexians were always watching. Evan sat on the edge of his bed that night, fingers digging into his hair. The lights had been flickering again. Twice his reflection in the window had shimmered silver. And once, just once, the glass had warbled like liquid beneath his fingertips. He pulled his hand back, heart racing. What is happening to me? Connor was in the living room, pretending to watch TV, but clearly keeping an ear out. Evan closed his eyes. There was a pulse behind them, soft, rhythmic, a presence warm, calming, familiar, and then a feeling like someone sitting beside him. His eyes snapped open. A figure stood in the corner of the room. Not a human, not a shadow. Something else. Tall, lithe, outlined in faint, shimmering energy. Blue-white, like moonlight on water. Not fully visible, only a silhouette. Evan froze. Hello? The figure did not move at first. Instead, it tilted its head, observing him with quiet curiosity, like it was listening to the vibration of his thoughts. Then, a voice, soft but resonant, filled the room. Do not fear. Evan scrambled back on the bed, heart nearly exploding. Who? What are you? The figure stepped closer. Details formed. Not a monster. Not an alien. Something much more graceful. Like a human-shaped current of living light. I am not here to harm you. Evan swallowed hard. Are you real? Yes. Are you in my head? No. Then how are you here? The figure paused. Its voice grew even softer. Because you awakened. Evan's breath hitched. That doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. I saw you earlier. I saw you and someone else. You saw the first resonance. You saw us, because your mind remembers what your body has not yet learned. Evan trembled. This wasn't possible. This wasn't real. This couldn't be happening. What do you mean, remembers? I'm human. The figure's glow dimmed slightly like a sigh made of light. You were. Evan's chest tightened. He shook his head frantically. No, I'm not whatever you are. The presence lowered itself, kneeling in front of him. A gentle radiance enveloped him. Not heat, not pressure, but resonance, like standing inside a perfectly tuned chord. Human is not your end, the figure said. It is your beginning. What does that even mean? The figure hesitated. Then its voice shifted, lower, more solemn. You are Sinadax. Evan's heart stopped. His mouth went dry. His fingers trembled violently. What? You are awakening into what you were always meant to become. It is frightening. It is painful. But it is necessary. Evan shook his head violently. No, no, I'm not immortal or magical or whatever. I'm just normal. The figure rose to its full height. For the first time, Evan saw its eyes. Silver, luminescent, ancient. You're not normal, the visitor said softly. Not anymore. And then, before Evan could speak, the figure stepped backward, faded, and vanished. The room was silent again. Evan sat frozen, heart beating against his ribs. He wasn't sure how long he stayed like that, but when Connor knocked on his door a minute later, Evan didn't answer, because he wasn't sure he could speak, or breathe, or accept what he had just been told. Yara sensed the presence before Tarvo did. She turned sharply, her eyes narrowing. Someone else felt it. Tarvo stiffened. Not the human, not a Sinadax. Something darker, sharper, tuned to a different harmony. Zorvexians, Yara whispered. Tarvo didn't respond at first. He listened, deeply, letting the resonance of the continuum flow across him like a river. A faint, oily vibration threaded through the cosmic hum. Familiar, unwelcome, predatory. Tarvo closed his eyes. They are near Earth. Yara's aura flared in alarm. What do we do? Tarvo stepped away from the spire's edge, eyes sharpening like blades. Prepare the core. Yara inhaled sharply. Tarvo, you said we should not interfere. I said we should not shape him, Tarvo replied. But we cannot allow the Zorvexians to enslave a newborn. That would be a corruption. His aura brightened, subtly but unmistakably. The silver glow around him intensified with purpose. Yara nodded. Shall I summon the captains? Not all, Tarvo said, only those closest. And you? Yara asked. What will you do? Tarvo turned once more toward the distant planet. Me? He said quietly. His aura pulsed, a heartbeat of light. I will watch, and if they approach him, his eyes narrowed like a star collapsing into steel. Then I will act. The next morning felt wrong the moment Evan opened his eyes. Not because of the energy, not because of the lingering silver glow in his irises, but because the air felt heavier, denser, like it was vibrating at a frequency just below hearing. He sat up slowly. His sheets clung to his skin, electricity crackling faintly where his fingers brushed the fabric. He checked the window. A faint pulse rippled across the glass. Even though nothing touched it, he backed away, breath shallow. No, please not again. He stared at his hands. His palms glowed faintly. Not bright, not beautiful, just unstable. Connor knocked on the door. Hey man, breakfast. You alive? Evan swallowed. He hesitated, then answered, Yeah, I'm up. He wasn't. He felt like he was falling upward into his own mind.